that like I'm struggling with this, and there are people besides you that will have your back no matter what. And I have their back, and I wrote that song just to make people realize that, like, dude, like, you might look up to me or the band or whatever, but people struggle no matter who you look up to, who you see as like someone that is like an influence. Like, we struggle, you know what I mean? And just know you're not alone.
Brandan, thank you so much for your time today. The band is now properly 25 years old, so let's just start there. You're classic rock now. How does that feel?
Yeah, man. Fuck. I mean, it feels good. I mean, I used to say to myself all the time, like, I didn't want to be doing this in my 40s and screaming into a microphone, but like, fuck, no, I want to do this into like my 60s, dude. It's like so fun, and we're so grateful and so blessed to still be able to do this. And I mean, to me and to us, like, we're a stronger band. We're having more fun with this. It means more, you know, which is interesting to say, but like, it just does. I think when you have time to kind of look back at a career and reflect and all the hard work, I think it's a time where we could be like prideful of ourselves, prideful of like what we've accomplished, and prideful in like what we still are accomplishing. You know what I mean? Right. And I think that a lot of bands, you know, bands are kind of like horribly like humble, and like we're a very humble band, but we're a better band now, and I have no fucking problem saying that. We're just a better band now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Like, as you mentioned the word, like, reflecting on the past that you said, you guys obviously, I mean, everybody that follows the band knows that you had some fun re-recording a couple of old songs to highlight some of that legacy. Does that, I mean, I hear you say that, okay, yeah, you know, you're more happy with what you are as a band now, and obviously the new record is the most important thing and all the kind of good stuff. But as you were kind of like playing around with some of those old songs, does that also give you a little bit of an appetite for more? Like, is that something that we should see more of in the future?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm not going to cross it out. We have so much of the back catalog, and I think that a lot of those songs should be celebrated, like more of like a modern sound. And that really what it was is like a lot of those recordings were 20 years ago, and they're fucking awesome for what they were, but they're just different from what like the standard is now. And I just, for our own curiosity and us just wanting to hear those songs at the level that I feel like we're at now as musicians, and also the level that we kind of separate ourselves with like recording and production. That is something that like I want to hear more. So that's why we did those two songs, to kind of just hear it. And exactly, and I didn't want to redo those songs. I just wanted those songs to sound like Bleeding Through now. And I think we accomplished that. Louder. So that is something that we definitely do in the past, for sure. And we'll definitely do in the future. We'll take some songs, we'll redo them. Like, you know, it's fun.
All right. Awesome. All right. So let's focus on the new album coming out. 9 is coming, as we're talking, in a week from now, on Valentine's Day. I mean, nothing more romantic than a little bit of a dark symphonic metalcore.
Nothing more goth than a metalcore Valentine's Day.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, Gallows is a cool song that starts this this album. We get a little Saruman quote there from Lord of the Rings. I think it says, you know, all we have to do is remove those who oppose us. And then we go into a pretty dark, bleak song that you shared, you know, really deals about, you know, suicidal thoughts. So knowing that quote that you use in the beginning of this song to make a statement to open the album, we have to remove those who oppose us. Are we talking about ourselves? Are we the ones who oppose ourselves the most at the end of the day?
I think it's two ways. I think that's definitely one way to look at it. It is kind of like, it's like, that is kind of like, hey, remove the things that are in your way in life that keep you from living the life that you want to live and following like the dreams you want to follow and your passions. Also, it's kind of like a statement for those who we don't consider friendly with us and have always just kind of not been on our side of things. And that's not many, but we've always carried that chip on our shoulder. and that I'm okay with saying that. Like, there's a chip on our shoulder. I as much as the success that I feel like we've had as a band, which I feel very blessed and very grateful for. I feel like we should have earned a little bit more, and I feel like we were always kind of like the in between, kind of oddball band a little bit.
Yeah.
And we always felt like we had to build our own community and our own scene a little bit, in which we have. But it also created people that had a lot of naysayers and a lot of people that doubted us, and a lot of people are doubting us now, doing this record 25 years in and being a band now, but they're obviously, to us, just not paying attention, because we're a better band live. We're putting this record out that I don't mind saying is our best record. I mean, what are you supposed to say? It's pretty good. But I mean, like, the record, it's a statement. I think this record is a statement of this band, of like our past, and also what we're looking forward to doing in the future. And so it's really just like setting up, like, we consider all the people that have supported this band, like even yourself, like taking time to do like these interviews, and people that go to our shows and our label, like, you're part of our tribe. Like, this is for us, and those who oppose us can get the fuck out of the way.
You know, you guys were the oddball from the beginning, because you kind of didn't really fit it. And it's fun, right? Because in our genre, in our world, it's always like, oh, you need to be unique and you need to be different, but don't be too different, because you kind of have to fit within a box, right? And yeah, you guys were too gothic for metalcore. You were too metalcore for goth music, you know, like, in a way.
And that's what we kind of like back, you know, when we were coming up, it was the beginning of all the subcategories, and it was like, okay, well, what's our subcategory, right? And then metalcore became this like taboo thing, not for us. It's what we are. We're proud that we were one of the pioneering bands of a genre that fucking is responsible for a lot of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like one of those things where, like, we have a confidence, but we also, that confidence is like love. Like, we have love for the people that are supporting us and do this with us. Like, without those people, we're nothing. And this record for us was just as much of a statement for ourselves, but also a statement for the people that have been supporting us for all these years. Fans that go to our show, like, dude, it's crazy. The support that we still have is insane. And it's awesome, because it's people that formed a connection with us for emotional, just an outlet, right? And it's like, we're so, fortunate to be doing this for them too, but it's still a statement for them, people that really love our band and have supported us. Like, we were not going to put a record out 25 years into this band and have that record suck. You know what I mean? And so many times when a band comes back and put out a record, you're kind of like, yeah, this is good, but like, yeah, it's them. I didn't want to put out a record that's like, yeah, that's just bleeding through. It just is. I wanted to show people that we are still progressing, we're still learning, we're still pushing, we're still trying to work on what we do and make what we do like the best that we can do. And I think that we created that with this new record. I really do. It's fully our vibe. Everybody got into this record, and you could feel everybody's passion and aggression and individualism at the record. And that's something that we haven't really honed in on before, but this record was very like unified with the band of like what we were doing. Everybody's kind of vibe shined through, but the overall vibe came out really dark. Like, the songs are all pretty different from each other, but they all follow the same sort of like, they follow the same vibe. Listen, like, I love that we put out some staple records. Like, This Is Love, This Is Murderous. I get what it did for the scene, the industry, whatever. And we're very proud of that record, even The Truth. But, sometimes when people listen to a band, they love a record so much, they get stuck on that record and they just don't move past it. So it's like with this record, I'm trying to urge people, like, even if you haven't heard anything of us for the last 10 plus years, listen to this fucking record. Just listen to this record. It's like, it's yeah, dude.
Yeah. Now, it's not only in the first song that we kind of can interpret the song in two ways. One being in a very personal and vulnerable song for you, but as you said, like, could also look at broader picture of, like, who really stands in our way, a bit of a broader picture. It flows throughout the album. I want to zoom into the first one because last time that we spoke about that, and you were sharing your struggles with mental health issues and bipolarism and all that kind of stuff, and we kind of very quickly got into talking about Trevor happening with the Black Dahlia murder, and how that also, like, really hit you. That was a little too close for comfort, I think, at that time. You pour yourself out again in this album. I think one of those is on Lost in Isolation. I think is one of those songs that stands out, where you give a pretty emotional performance. And then I wonder, this is a song that I think a lot of people will relate to. And then they're going to want to hear you play that live over and over again. And so I want to ask you about this, and I want to preface that I try never to recycle questions, but this is a question I've asked a few people that have given equally emotional performances. What is that like for you? Like, when you're screaming, "Don't ever give up on me" over and over again, it's one thing to tap into that darkness to get that on a record. But if you have to do that, I mean, have is maybe a big word, but if people want to see you do that over and over again on the stage, does every time you do that make that better? Or are you now forced to relive that really dark episode over and over again?
Well, with that song in particular, Lost in Isolation, like, I feel like that song to me is the most emotional song on the record for me.
Right.
For a couple of different reasons.
Of your career, maybe.
It really dives into, like, the mental health shit of being, like, how I felt very lost for a long time, like Lost in Isolation. And it's like a plea to just, like, there's a line that says, like, "Don't ever give up on me." And it's like, even in my worst days, I've had people stand beside me, and it's like my band has, and friends and family. And it's like, I'll continue to struggle, but just don't give up on me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't give up on people that are struggling. They got massive love. They just have a barrier that's in front of them a lot of the time, and that barrier was very large, and that's what that was for me. And that song I listen to, like, I get emotional every time I listen to that song. I love that it's kind of like Marta sings on it a lot. And Ryan sings on it too, and we all sing on it, and it's like, it's a very unifying song for our band, but also just, like, Marta is such an important part of my life. She's one of my closest friends, and probably my closest friend. And it's like having her on that song when she had to deal with probably me the most on tour, with, like, my horrible stuff all the time, what I was dealing with. But, I think people are really going to grasp onto that song. And what I've been getting the sense of people that have heard the record, that's a song, that and Gallows are two songs that aren't singles, that are the songs that people like, dude, like those songs. But mainly like Lost in Isolation for sure.
Yeah. And so, does it heal you singing that song?
So, but going on to the next point, like, yes, it does. Like, this music helps me. I think even if it comes across where I get emotional with it, every time we play live with all the songs, I do this reflection thing before we play. I get very weird. I go on stage and I just let the reflection of what I've been through personally, what we've been through as a band over the years, like the struggles, the good times, the bad times, and I just ball it up. And when I go on stage, I just fucking, like, let it go. And I relive the moments in my mind. I take myself back to every song and what I was thinking when I wrote that song, and transform myself to that thinking and where I'm at there and how far I've come. And it's our stage for me when I play it, it's a huge reflection on everything. And I get really emotional. And that song, I'm assuming, I know that song, when we play that song, it's going to be a very emotional song. And I just hope that people dig it. I hope that people can find, like, some embrace in that song and some solace and some peace, and know that they're not alone, that, like, I'm struggling with this, and there are people beside you that will have your back no matter what. And I have their back. And I wrote that song just to make people realize that, like, dude, like, you might look up to me or the band or whatever, but people struggle no matter who you look up to, who you see as, like, someone that is, like, an influence. Like, we struggle, you know what I mean? And just know you're not alone. Follow me now to the path of
Well, here you are now with an album that you're clearly very proud about, and you've
Very
got the
proud.
singles already. And I agree. I think there's like 3, 4 songs that have not been released as singles that not only do I think they will
Could be
do well
singles.
live, but I would
Yeah.
like to see them live, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And this album, you say like, it's a statement. It's who we are as a band. This is the best or one of the best albums we've done. Great. But you do also have that legacy, and you have to also kind of respect your own legacy. So let's go from something very serious to something maybe a little bit more, surface level. But then how hard is it for you now to make that set list? Because this is gonna be difficult.
Bro, we have so many songs. So like when we play festivals, we know what song, like we usually have like 30, 40 minutes. We call those vacations because like that's not a lot of time for us to play.
No.
We know what staple songs people want to hear, and then we mix in songs that like, New Earth and stuff like that. It's pretty hard. The long set list, usually like when we headline, we usually play for about an hour and 20 minutes. And those set lists actually are harder because we have a leeway to play more, and then that turns into, no, we want to play this instead of that.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough. But I mean, I think we do a good job at like spreading it around like through our like whole discography of like songs and stuff, making everybody happy. We always try to work in songs that people don't really hear a lot. But yeah, it's pretty tough to be honest.
Yeah, I bet. So, because we're gonna run out of time quick. So why don't we wrap up with what we can look forward to for the rest of the year? Because the year is still very young.
Yes.
We've got this album coming out now. You are going to be promoting this, obviously. So we'll see you in some festivals. But what else can
Absolutely.
we expect from you guys this year? What should we keep our eyes open for?
I mean, we've been kind of like hitting the States as hard as we could, playing festivals and shows, and we're gonna do more of that. We're gonna play a couple like the thing with us is we play weekends because of our like other jobs and stuff. But we do the best we can to get out there as much as we can, and so we're gonna be very available. We're gonna play probably about 12, 13 shows in the States. But this year we're gonna go to Europe for a couple weeks, and we're gonna do South America for a couple weeks, and then we're going to try to get back into Canada actually and play there.
That's good.
So
it's been
we're
a
going to
while.
be around, and it's like, we're a band that like we're cool with nostalgia, but this record and this sort of thing, it's like we'll always dip back into nostalgia and be nostalgic because we're proud of those times. But we're really going to try to like take that step forth and be the Bleeding Through now. And we're just hoping that people can not always just hang their hat on nostalgia and really enjoy what these songs are. And so far, so good. I mean, we've been playing a couple of songs live, like, and they go crazy. Like, people love these songs, and it's really awesome and refreshing. Like, we've been putting in a lot of hard work. Like, for a band that only plays about 30 shows a year, we fucking work really hard. It's still a daily thing for us. And I can't wait for people to see us. I can't wait for people to hear this record. I think we're really just sort of building on the vibe that we have as a band and that we've created. We hope that people latch back on to us. Like I said, like we love our fucking fans and the support. Like it's like we love all the people that have anything to do with this. Like what an amazing thing that we have this in our lives to turn to. People that just go to shows and listen to, like a show is a release of energy and aggression and passion and emotion. And a lot of people don't have that. And in the darkest times, we have that. We have this community. And really, like the focus for us is just really like carry that fucking legacy of the community that's going on with music and this awesome music that's happening, and being supportive of new bands, being supportive of old bands, like getting to know fans better, getting to know people like you better that are doing like these fucking interviews and like taking time out of yourself to put our band out there. Our band is full of gratitude. And I know that's sort of the weird thing, like to be the good people. We're the good guys of metal, but it's like, the thing is like, dude, like we're really good people, and this can be something positive. You know what I mean? And it is positive. It's negatively positive.
There you go. Well, Brandan, I mean, time always flies too fast when I get to talk to you.
I talk a lot. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Don't be sorry. I wish we had more time, but I'm sure that we'll find more time soon enough, and I will keep my fingers crossed for those Canadian shows, and we can do this in person.
That'd be great, man.
Brandan,
awesome. Thanks, Jeff. So much. I appreciate you, bro.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.